about time I gave you guys a bit of an update on old Molly here. So she was away for a couple of months over the summer, and yeah, some big old modifications have gone down thanks to our friend John at Herts Custom. Molly was a bit slow, as many of you may well be aware, and the old auto didn't fill us with the most confidence on our longer expeditions particularly. Probably never looks as steep on camera.
Yeah.
It's not too steep yet. It'll be a nice gradual climb.
Our bicycle has killed our speed completely. Yeah.
Keep it cool.
Keep it cool. 12 minutes. Oh gosh. Okay. Can we have Cummins engine though?
I think most of you know by now that we've had an engine upgrade, a gearbox upgrade, as well as a few other things which I'll get into. So stick around because there's some quite unusual ones with this, especially for the age of the vehicle. This all came about around January time when we were still in Portugal in the Hilux. I was right. I would say it.
Okay, I tried.
I was following our adventure to Morocco and that series. I was sitting there in the sunshine, drinking a cup of coffee, I think, scrolling through eBay as one usually does, looking at all different projects and things, and happened to come across a Mark II Shogun, so not Pajero but Shogun, sitting in a field in Wales. It's been abandoned for about 6 years. Somebody owned it, but hadn't really done anything with it. I think the elderly owner, previous owner, had stopped using it, so hence the reason it sort of sat there. And also, as we found out later, it was very rusty indeed. But this didn't matter because it was going to be a donor vehicle for Project Molly Monster. And yeah, so I bought that there and then for about £700. Got it delivered to Herts Custom 4x4 where John worked his magic during the summer and swapped in a 2.8, so from a Shogun, a 2.8 4M40 motor to replace the 2.5 45.6, and that donor vehicle was also a manual vehicle, so even better. That's what I decided on the end was going to be the best for this setup for an older vehicle. Keep it super simple, and they're also very strong manual boxes on those 2.8s, as well as I like the 2.8 4M40 engine. I've had quite a few over the years, and when maintained and you know, sensible tuning, they can be a very reliable and you know, good platform. Can return fairly decent MPG, as I'll tell you what we're getting since the conversion during this video. The beauty of this conversion is that it's a fully mechanical motor, meaning it's a mechanical fuel pump, non-electronic, so it makes the whole side of the electronics and putting everything together a little bit easier and a little bit more easy to work on in the bush, you could say. Any problems that might arise on any longer expeditions or just in general. John has done an absolutely incredible job of making this all look really factory, because we want it to be as simple and straightforward as possible to make sourcing parts and any repairs that much easier when out in the middle of nowhere, or at least a bit easier than if things are very custom. So it's only had to have, you know, there's slight alterations to the engine mounts and gearbox mounts to make that all sit in line. He managed to get it perfectly situated that we were able to use the standard length props from the donor vehicle, which I was very happy about, and some choice upgrades, as you can see here, such as a full stainless alley radiator. That was going to add some to the budget, but I thought it was worth it to have a thicker 4-row Alley Sport radiator. I said Alley Sport, it's not actually Alley Sport. I can't remember what the brand is, but it was in the 200 and something pound region. And you can see that the 4M40 here sits in really neatly. You wouldn't, unless you knew these vehicles particularly, you wouldn't be able to tell that it's had an engine swap, so to speak. And yes, we are able to run air conditioning. Can you believe it? No, I struggled too. I didn't think this was going to happen, but John made it a reality. Molly originally had aircon all those years ago. I think when I first got it, the radiators were all disintegrating and falling apart, so I took all the front side out. See, the water was left in the dashboard, and the pipe, some of the pipe work remained in there, and together with John we managed to figure out a package of the original bits behind the dash and some brand new condenser, radiator and fan and things from AliExpress, which looks decent quality, to be honest. I'm really happy with it, and a spout fan to complement that. Yeah, so she runs ice cold aircon now, I can confirm, because we had it during the latter part of August and September. So on a hot day, mid-20s, you could have the temperatures right down and you'd be having ice cold aircon blowing at you. So that's going to be absolutely incredible when we're somewhere hot, say wherever it's Portugal, Morocco, or anywhere new we're going to go. We will be very happy to have that on board. Secondly, cruise control. Who would have thought? We got the donor vehicle had cruise control, so it was able to take that 1990s basic system. It's done on the cable, as you can see here. There's this box. Don't ask me exactly how it works, but we have cruise control essentially. This came from the donor vehicle, and we have a fully functioning cruise control system for highway driving. And again, long distance out in Europe or further, we'll be able to hit the highway and just, you know, have really easy cruising there with our cruise control and aircon. The engine bay has been color coded, and this, you know, just makes everything look a lot neater. The dual batteries we have the starter battery and the leisure battery. There's been a nice section welded in to the arch, in essence, to house both the batteries neatly and tidily, whereas one used to sit far at the front before on a dodgy kind of tray. So really happy with that, and this neat clamp down to hold all that tight and together. And we're able to now have full visuals on what's going on with the motor. So we've got EGT temps, digital water temps, your boost, and so on. So we've got those there to have good visuals at all times on what's going on with the motor there. So yes, this car is now, Molly is now tuned. She is running a higher boost and more fueling. The pump was reworked and had a new seal and everything, and it's been turned up with slightly advanced timing, and that all comes together to create quite the thrilling experience for what we are comparing to, what we were used to, and also going from auto to manual. It really is quite peppy now, and it has the power to really keep up on the faster roads and hills, where we used to really struggle before coming up to on the motorway bypass on a big hill comes up, or if you're crossing, say, the Pyrenees or something, heading down towards Portugal or over to the Atlas to the other side of the desert in Morocco, we would really struggle to, you know, gain any momentum. We'd be backing off to like 40 miles an hour, struggling up the hill with everything screaming. Whereas now, I mean, we've been on a few runs out, and like over the M62 for example the other day, and it's a long old hill up, and I could just, no effort at all, just cruise all the way up 70 mile an hour if I wanted to, even overtake in the fast lane. Not that we normally do that, but it was nice to be able to test it and see that it can. So yeah, it really does go well, and it's running spot on. Starts perfect too. Just before she went in for all these upgrades, she did go and have the larger 33s that we ran a few years ago put back on. We originally took those off and put a 32 all-terrain when we did that bigger trip a couple of years ago to the Balkans. We just needed to be able to turn those big old heavy tyres a bit easier and just make everything a little easier for the vehicle. But now there's absolutely no problem for Molly power wise to turn that bigger rubber, so we've gone back to that for now. So we'll see how that goes. We might, you know, change again in the future, but for now, happy with the 33s and a mud terrain for the types of adventures we're gonna mix it up with at the moment. The dash here, John has done an incredible job to make the Mark II dials fit into the Mark I housing, all custom. Even the 3D printed section to neaten things up here, where we had to take a piece of plastic out which didn't quite fit with the new dials. It is certainly really cool to be able to have the Super Select option in there now, so everything is as a Mark II would be, which is very, you know, famous in the Mitsubishi world, was the Super Select, so that's really cool to have that option there. 3D printed sections to be able to run some of the Mark II switchgear. Made a little trip to North Wales at the weekend, so a mix of driving, and managed to achieve 29 mpg fill up, which I thought was incredible for a vehicle of this type. Heavy, big tyres, you know. Also working on the camper as we speak, so that'll be something for a future video, but that's coming together nicely now because we're doing a full interior refit out in the back. The chairs are gone now, the drawers are gone, and we've done like a live-in style camper in there. So once that's finished, I'll definitely be showing you that. But overall, I hope this video has given you a little bit of a insight into what's been happening with Molly and where she's at now. Much improved version, well, who knows, version 10 by now probably. But I feel like the whole puzzle is coming together with this one, because many years ago, many of you remember, she had a lot of work done where we put Mark II or Gen 2 axles on the vehicle, so it runs all Mark II drivetrain now, and with the gearbox, transfer box and engine coming out of a Mark II, the whole thing is Mark II now, drivetrain wise, which is really cool, because it's you know, probably the peak era, well in my opinion, many people's opinion, of the Pajero or Shogun was the Gen 2, so 2.8s, and you like the petrol, the 3 litre V6. I also a big fan of the Mark III 4 3.2. It's a very good vehicle as well, different, more modern, electronical, but there's, you know, pluses and minuses to both options, and they both have their place. And if you do have any questions, you know, stick them in the comments right now. I'll do my best to answer all of them as best I can, and keep an eye on the socials, because we're preparing, I said, we're doing the camper and things and getting the final pieces together, so we can get out on the road for some adventure and some expeditions. And there's a lot on the cards coming up. You know, for us, normally winter time is our time to hit the road and go do something, so yeah, we'll be sharing that with you very soon. Do give us a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and yeah, subscribe if you're not already, because there's lots more to come, especially adventure wise, and we'll be seeing you very soon in the next one. Alright, cheers guys.